Now, East Midlands today can reveal that hundreds of homeless people have been given one-way tickets to other parts of Britain or overseas.
Yes, the Reconnection service is designed to help them return to places where they're entitled to accommodation. But some choose to stay on the streets.
And one man has told us he refused a ticket to India because his daughters live in Leicester. Our social affairs correspondent Jeremy Ball has this report.
Wash your clothes. It's fairly simple.
Salma's homelessness charity is putting Bipin up in this shared house in Leicester. He was sleeping rough after his marriage broke down. Bipin came from India 6 years ago. He's allowed to live here, but when he asked the council for housing, he was offered a one-way ticket back.
I cried a lot. I felt really depressed. I didn't eat for 2 days. If I was to go back, then how would I come back and see my children? That wouldn't be possible.
I was really shocked by the fact that he'd been given this letter and asked not only to return to India, but actually not to come back as well. When he's built his whole life here, he's got family here, he's got 2 daughters here.
I stay for my children.
Can you see the bars there? Oh, yeah.
Kim Pike's trying to stop people sleeping rough on the streets of Nottingham. She says many British people are refusing one-way tickets to their hometowns too.
They'll probably say no because they fear what will happen to them if they go back to where they're from. So, for example, if there is someone from Derby or Sheffield who have racked up big drug debts there, then they're not going to go back because A, they can't afford to pay the debt, and B, they're worried for their safety.
But for others, Reconnection can be a lifeline. Over the last 5 financial years, tickets home have been accepted by 488 homeless people in Leicester, while different agencies in Nottingham have arranged 373 reconnections. Derby doesn't keep the same figures. Some are East Europeans who are out of work and can't afford to go home. But it's mostly British people who are homeless.
I was living down Skegness with my grandparents and that, but now they've gone into a retired place. They brought me back here because I ain't got no local connection. Now I've got local connection in Nottingham. This is where my help is. And now I'm going to get the help, hopefully get the help. I'm off the streets.
We had a Polish lady who we were able to set up a care home in Poland with one of our Polish speakers, and she actually helped her onto the plane and took her to the care home in Poland, so she knew, and we all knew, she was completely safe.
But back in Leicester, it's another worry to add to Bipin's health problems, and he's fighting to stay.
So, Jeremy, how do councils decide then whether someone who's homeless actually does have a local connection?
Well, the main thing they look at is how long you've lived in the area. Now, the limit is either half of the last year or 3 of the last 5 years. You can also qualify if you work somewhere or if you've got immediate family there. If not, you're very unlikely to get social housing, and they might offer you one of those one-way tickets instead.
So aren't councils just shunting the problem around?
Well, there's certainly an element here of keeping housing free for people who need it locally, but this system's also designed to get people back where they might have family and friends and where they can get more support. But the Nottingham Charity Framework has told me that they're finding more rough sleepers are refusing these reconnections now, and they think that's partly because they simply don't think they'll get any housing if they do go back.
And are we right in saying that this is becoming quite a big political priority now as well?
Yeah, it is. And in fact, just yesterday, the Chancellor announced over £50 million in extra funding to tackle homelessness. Opposition parties, though, of course, they blame austerity for what we're seeing on the streets. So I think you can expect more promises on this if we do see that general election coming along.
Yeah, well, we might well do. Jeremy, thank you very much indeed.